You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the finals of the Eternal Tournament Series, Weekly 5 for Season 3. And boy, do we have a fun matchup here. We're going to get to see Shed, who we just saw win against Toth on his Stone Scar mid-range deck, up against Unearthly, who got a 3-0 with his Rakano plate deck. So I'm expecting a lot of quick games here. Should be a quick series overall.
Potentially, Shed's deck is a little bit more removal heavy. He is going to try and slow the game down. He is going to be playing the control role in this particular matchup. So if he is successful, things will drag out a little bit, but he does turn the corner very fast. So we will see how things play out if he's able to answer the threats Unearthly puts in place. Although there are certainly ways the game can play out where Shed gets ahead. And in those situations, Unearthly really doesn't have a lot to deal with him.
Yeah, he really does not. Although it is important to note that we won't see them until the sideboard, but I have a feeling Silverwing Familiar might be playing a very key role in this matchup as we get into it. But we are jumping straight into game one here, and we see him Unearthly immediately pitch his opener. And Shen, on the other hand, going ahead and keeping that a pretty reasonable hand with the Suffocate, Annihilate, and Statuary Maiden to try and hold off this early aggression.
Yep, and Unearthly's hand is very awkward. He's not going to be able to apply that much pressure at all. And Shed has a bunch of removal. Statue Maiden, which is an incredibly good card in this matchup. Both Statue Maiden and Steward of the Past are incredibly good cards against Rakano. You can't torch them. You can't vanquish them. It's really just down to Steward of the Valkyrie Enforcer to silence them, or for you to have a big enough quick draw creature to attack through them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to see Shed here debating a little bit on whether or not he actually wants to use this Suffocate here. Might decide to try and save it away for either a turn, like a turn 5 Statuary Maiden into Suffocate so that he can draw a Cudgel and, gain some extra value here. Though he does have to be careful about running the Statuary Maiden out next turn then with the Valkyrie Enforcers hanging out.
Unearthly has painted into a bit of a corner where he has to play this Valkyrie just to provide enough pressure. We do see the Steward of the Past come down. So this Valkyrie is going to go and contest in the air. He actually has the finest hour to protect it from a Suffocate, although the Annihilate can still tag it. So maybe if Shed doesn't deploy his removal spells in the right order, Unearthly can cheat it out a bit. And also we're seeing the same situation again where Unearthly is just presenting threats that Shed has the answer to, but Shed might not have the mana to deploy it in time. All the answers.
Yeah, it's a question of tempo here, and it's really a question of can Shed adequately respond to Unearthly? And Unearthly having some power issues here does help out quite a bit, but we are going to see Unearthly as soon as he hits that 4th power, kick this up a notch and start pushing in with a lot of damage. I mean, it's entirely feasible. He can have lethal next turn now, and
this Champion of Glory is huge.
Yeah, and we see Infernal Tyrant come down to, try and provide some sort of a stop gap for him. But we obviously see the Vanquish hanging out in Unearthly's hand going to be able to take care of this Tyrant and allows him to, just bully through these minions again. We're going to see the Champion of Glory and the Valkyrie Enforcer both attacking in here. And honestly, might even get in with the Oni Ronin. Decides not to. Probably wise. Could have gotten something cute with the Finest Hour.
The Cudgel's the tiebreak. Like if these were just like Stewards of the Past, you would definitely attack with the Oni Ronin because what else is doing. But because you give Shed a Cudgel, it's not worth it. We do see the Subvert not affecting the board, not really what you want to do here, but Shed doesn't really have another option. Actually, the Shogun Scepter does allow this Steward of the Past to get big enough to block, so that matters, but we do see the Finest Hour on the side of Unearthly that's going to allow him to punch through.
Yeah, and if Unearthly picks up another power here, he actually just has lethal with the Hammer of Might into Finest Hour on the Valkyrie Enforcer. Unfortunately, not going to get it, but I have a feeling we'll see this play anyway. Although he may choose to put it on the Champion, thinking it's better protected. Which, to be fair, it is better protected against this Annihilate.
I think I like just attacking with the Champion of Glory and the Valkyrie Finest Houring on the block, and then playing Champion of Glory because you have another potent threat to play after these attacks. I think that's better than the Hammer of Might. Although I think all of these plays are reasonably close. That's what I would do. But if he throws Hammer of Might on either the Valkyrie or the Champion of Glory, I could definitely see that being defensible.
I like Hammer of Might on the Valkyrie here because it sets Shed to 3, and 3 is a very easy number, obviously, for Unearthly to hit. Not only is it within torch range, but a naked Valkyrie Enforcer played will be able to get in for that damage in the air, and there are a lot of scenarios in which he can close the game out very quickly. I mean, even Soulfire Drake, if he picks up an undepleted fire, will be able to kill him, whereas he would have only been at 6 otherwise. And it would have been a little harder to weave in.
Interesting putting the cudgel on the Oni Ronin. He could have put it on the Statuary Maiden, and it would have been another blocker for this Champion of Glory in case Vanquish can stop. But he wants to get aggressive, start turning the corner. And unfortunately, the Diplomatic Seal, and this is the reason I thought it was awkward that Unearthly was still running Diplomatic Seals, because now that Soulfire Drake is triple red, you can't get that requirement off Diplomatic Seal.
Yeah, and that does prove to be quite annoying for Unearthly. We saw the moment of hesitation when he looked at it and, had to look at the Soulfire Drake and just disappointedly look away as he realizes he can't cast it. But, I mean, to his credit, I mean, Unearthly is still, in a very commanding position here. Like, the Champion of Glory comes down, and we're going to have to see both of these cudgels deployed on a single unit to get in the way. But I don't think it's going to matter here. I think Unearthly should be able to close this one out. I mean, maybe Shed has turned the corner here, but it's just going to be so hard.
Both these champions are checked, but here is the power for the Soulfire Drake. But I was going to say, if Unearthly went an extended period of time without drawing the correct influence for the Soulfire Drake, his board was colded. He couldn't get through what Shed was presenting. So Shed came pretty close to turning the corner there, but in the end, the Soulfire Drake comes in and closes it out, and we will quickly move into Game 2 of our best of 5 finals, because there is no sideboarding between Games 1 and Game 2.
Yep, none at all. So we will be seeing a very quick jumping back into the match, and of course, Unearthly taking down Game 1 there. Interesting hand. Yeah, no Justice influence from him, so we'll see him ship it back. Shed, on the other hand, with a reasonably slow start, but it's going to be pretty nice. Vara's Favor and Quarry, as well as the Statuary Maiden. So plenty of power around for both players, so not gonna be lacking on that.
It's a little bit of an awkward hand here for Unearthly. They can't play two. It's interesting to see them play the. Well, actually, I guess it doesn't matter either way. But now they need to draw an untapped source either way to play this Rakano Outlaw, or Undepleted, rather. Sorry. So they will get to play their Outlaw on 2. That's very relevant. They get to start chaining Warcry, get to start getting damage in. Shed does not have a way to deal with it right now. He's just going to be cantripping. So see if he gives us Quarry.
If you're Shed, I feel like, you have to take this 3-power Death Strike here. Like, you need to have ways to remove threats off the board. And I'm curious to see if Unearthly is going to go for the all-out aggression, and it looks like he's going to opt to and just get this Valkyrie Enforcer down with no target to silence and just start the pressure. And Shed's going to have a Death Strike to respond to this, but it's not the best in the world. I guess this is going to come down to where Unearthly decides to put this Crown Watch Cavalry buff. Ooh, but the preemptive Death Strike actually going to punish him here.
Yeah.
Crown Watch Cavalry super safe to drop now, not worried about it. And now that this Rakano Outlaw is a 4/4 quick draw, that's going to be very hard for Shed to block. Fortunate for him, he picks up a Death Strike off the top.
And this is really greedy by Shed to allow another Warcry trigger to come in. Like, he wants to get the cudgel for the Statuary Maiden. That's why he didn't Death Strike that turn. And it looks like he's not going to get incredibly punished for other than the 4 damage in the Warcry, but that seemed needlessly greedy to me.
A little bit. I'm curious to see if Unearthly is going to make the crazy 2-for-1 on himself here, and
I don't hate it
Hour
here.
into Vanquish. I don't hate it either. I think Statuary Maiden just needs to go. Like, I think that's what you're really terrified of, is this statuary maiden living.
Yeah, because you have to assume Shed has some removal spell. I mean, if he doesn't removal spell, you're just going to run over him. I think you have to play assuming that he has interaction and try and beat that. And in that scenario, you really don't want this to get a cudgel. So
Yeah, you don't want to see that cudgel come down here. I guess there's some. No, I think I'm all in here on this Finest Hour Vanquish, but I think Unearthly might have other plans for it.
I mean, it's a big cost. Like, I don't think it's clear that that's. And if so, for example, if Shed has the removal spell and they get the cudgel and then they equip it too early on the maiden, then your Vanquish alone kills it. So I don't hate Unearthly just passing here.
No, that's completely fair as well. An interesting consideration that we'll likely see the cudgel come down on the maiden at some point, although certainly not this turn. So just going to get in your way and be annoying for at least another turn. We see that cudgel getting picked up by Shed here, and Unearthly needs to draw another threat. Torch is not really what he was looking for here, because now this just matches up so awkwardly with the maiden, so you're just going to end up losing a full turn of tempo.
Yeah, I think like it's gross, but I almost want to attach the Gemblade just because it's so much mana loss to do nothing. And he could do the 5-star Vanquish play this turn, but I think now that Shed is the cudgel, you kind of want to give him the room to make a mistake. It's just, if you didn't do this last turn, I don't think you should do it this turn. And I guess making the right play now is like late is better than not making the right play ever. But it's still very awkward for an Earthly.
Yeah, it is very awkward. Like I think that this is honestly a bit of a mistake here. I think at this point you need to commit to 2 damage isn't that important, and definitely with this Umbran Reaper coming down. But on the other hand, Unearthly will have the chance to establish this Gem Blade, and it's looking like it's not going to matter. Yeah, Soulfire Drake going to be huge here, especially since it's caught all these Worker Eyes.
Yeah, it's lethal by itself. Shed needs to have an answer to it, and it doesn't look like he's going to. He's going to Subvert, which I can't imagine he's going to sideboard out fast enough in this matchup. And,
yeah, definitely going to be coming out quickly.
Yeah, the Soulfire Drake's going to come in, so Unearthly squeaking it out in a spot where it looked like he was very far behind. Playing the game pretty well. I still think I think the Vanquish 5-star return was interesting. I don't think it was wrong doing it in the order he did. I think he needed to do it by at least the time he did, but well played game by Unearthly as a whole.
Definitely. Yeah, certainly. I mean, definitely good on him for recognizing he had to make it the play eventually. I would have liked to have seen it a turn earlier, though. Would have definitely would have gotten in not just 2 additional damage like he did in that case, but actually 4 additional damage. So, yeah, just minor things here and there. But I mean, overall, like at the end of the day, he still recognized the play and made it. So, I have to give him credit for that regardless. Into these players' sideboards. Unearthly, curious. Yeah, definitely seeing those Silverwing familiars coming in. No surprise there. Some protects come in, obviously. That way he can handle all this removal that the Stone Scar mid-range deck is packing.
And I'm surprised. Yeah, right now he only has 3 Silverwing familiars in the side, like coming in. I think you just want all 4 because Shed's deck is not equipped to deal with that card at all. The only sometimes the Stone Scar decks have Impending Doom, and Impending Doom can at least block a Silverwing with a Hammer of Might on it. Shed only has Umbran Reapers, and outside of that, it's just the 1-for-1 removal, which lines up very poorly against Silverwing. I think Silverwing is going to be the most important card in this matchup, and I would definitely like to see Unearthly sideboard in such a way to maximize that with like Deep Forge plates and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. On Shed side, we see Furnace Mages coming in here. We also saw some Stray into Shadows. Both going to be very good cards in this matchup. I think we also saw him mess around with his removal a little bit. I think he brought in the extra Annihilate that he didn't have in. So him just messing around with his numbers more than anything. But of course, the important inclusions of Stray into Shadows to try and clean up like the massive unit spam boards that Unearthly often will drop in his first few turns.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how Shed wants to split this removal Essentially, his sideboard is just like more efficient removal or different kinds of removal. So he's presumably going to have to take out either removal he thinks is worse or creatures, and that's actually going to influence like how the matchup is played quite a bit, how proactive Shed is, how controlling he wants to be. So we'll definitely see how that plays out moving into game 3.
Yeah, definitely. And Shed having a hard time, or not Shed, sorry, Unearthly having a hard time here deciding what last 3 cards he wants to pull. And he's kind of doing that pull 1 from 3 different stacks approach. It looks like he's been considering cutting these Silverwing Familiars multiple times here. It's definitely not all of them, but cutting down to 2 of them. And I think we might actually see him get down to that point. Also considering Valkyrie Enforcer, Sword of Icaria, Crown Watch Cavalry, quite a few cards he's considered taking out here, but he's a little indecisive when it comes to this last card. And, I can't blame him. This is a hard deck to sideboard with. Sometimes it's hard to say what you really want to pull out because all of the cards just generally function so well.
Yeah, I was about to say I would definitely cut the Swords of Icaria, and that's what he decided on. Sword of Icaria is pretty underwhelming in this matchup. It does kill Argentport Instigator and Champion of Chaos, but not in the best terms. You really don't want to spend your whole turn doing that. It's so mana inefficient, and it's why I've generally moved away from Sword of Icaria in general in my Arcana decks. And you definitely pay a price for the tempo in this matchup. So I'd like to see that card go, and we will move into game 3.
Yeah, and Shed with that's a pretty good hand. I felt like, honestly, like it didn't have any threats, but he had plenty of removal. Unearthly, on the other hand, though, with this very awkward hand of triple Valkyrie Enforcer and a bunch of awkward power.
Yeah, and his hand like kind of lines up well against Shed's, but not like in the right order. So if these Valkyries came down after like the Champion of Chaos, the Steward, and the Umber Reaper, those are all like good things to silence, but he's probably gonna have to play a lot of these Valkyrie Enforcers naked.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna play at least the first one naked. I have a feeling we'll probably see Champion of Chaos come down here, and he'll at least be able to hit the second one here. Though this does pose an interesting threat. Ooh, with Torch picked up, may probably still see it silenced and just get in here. But I mean, Unearthly is going to have a lot of damage that Shed's going to have a hard time answering because it's all going to be in the air.
Yeah, and this is the cost Shed pays by not playing things like Impending Doom. He just has still the Umber Reapers, but he's also doesn't have the ability to race that well. So he's going to end up paying 4 mana to deal with a 3 mana card, tempo negative exchange. If he main phases it like he's been doing, he's going to leave himself open to this Shogun Scepter, which will be very good on the side of Unearthly.
Yeah, and Shed leaning for it again, and I don't like it. I mean, I like it a little bit more post board because you're hedging against protect, but at the same time, I mean, yeah, we're gonna see him definitely pay the price here. 5 damage coming in, and I mean, already Shed is under a ton of fire. Gonna have to find an extra influence for this Umber Reaper, and here we go. We see those influence costs just making cards that otherwise would be coming down on turn 5 every time just that much harder to play.
Yeah, and we'll probably see an Unearthly just alpha here. It's what else is Oni Ronin doing. Probably also play the Valkyrie. He just needs to shove. Just needs to get this game over with as soon as possible. Converting one of these Oni Ronin into 2 Warcry and 2 damage is definitely as good as it's getting. Could even torch the Steward of the Past to kill it if you want, but I probably don't want to do that. I think the only thing he's considering is sandbagging the Valkyrie.
Yeah, I think you need to get in with everything here, though. Like, I think you want to get in with just all of these units and yeah, just mash. And I think sandbagging the Valkyrie in hand, yeah, I think that actually is correct in this case. It depends on if he decides to use the torch. If he doesn't want to use the torch, then I think it's fine to just go ahead and play it, assuming that you're going to hold the torch here no matter what. But if you're going to use the torch to pick up a trade here, I definitely think you need to save this Valkyrie Enforcer.
Does also, I guess it's not, if they have removal spell for the 5/4, nothing is lethal. But yeah, I like extending the Valkyrie out here. It's only bad against Umber Reaper. It's not even the worst against Umber Reaper because you still have the torch.
Yeah, and you also you saw that they didn't have Umber and Reaper last turn. Like they obviously didn't have the influence to play it. And yeah, I think this is actually going to be it. I think we're just going to see a very quick oh, Ruin? No, Ruin can just take off the weapon, so there's still going to be 6 damage, unfortunately. I mean, I know Shed is going to think that he can be alive, but now, unfortunately, Unearthly has locked this game and this series, as well as the whole tournament up. So, Shed going to be your 5th weekly for the season 3, or yeah, season 3 of the ETS. He is going to be your 5th weekly winner, taking it down 3-0. Or yeah, Unearthly. Jeez, I keep doing that. It's the 2 screens, man. It's the 2 screens. Yeah, big congratulations to Unearthly for taking it down with Rakano, a deck that, as any of our regular viewers know, he is very, very well known for. So yeah, big congratulations to him for taking down that game. Big congratulations to Shed as well for representing his deck and making it all the way to the finals.
Yeah, it's cool to see Rakano do well again. As much as people like Resident Sleeper, oh, Rakano again. It actually hasn't been doing super well in recent memory. People have been using Stone Scar as their aggro deck of choice. Rakano has really not been a huge player in either the ladder metagame or the tournament in quite some time. It's cool to see Unearthly win the tournament with a deck he's been playing forever, a deck he's been like getting a bunch of experience with, been playing for a long time. So congrats to him. It's awesome to see someone do so well with the deck that they've been playing for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and to both these players, like Shed and Unearthly, definitely known for the decks that they play. But yeah, big congratulations to them, and big congratulations to all of our players today for turning up. And we're going to turn it over to Rekenner for y'all.
Hi, everyone. This is Rick Henner, your tournament organizer. So, I heard there was a balance patch, but no, but seriously, Shed and Unearthly have both been playing and refining their lists since, at the very least, November or October of last year, back when I really started paying attention to the tournament scene. Neither of them, both of them are kind of the paragons of their archetype. So both of them definitely deserve their top 2 finish. So I'd like to thank all of our viewers, all of our players. We're not doing this. We can't do this without you guys. And once again, congratulations to Shed and Unearthly for their invitation to the Season 3 Invitational. I'd like to thank Miller Tool, our producer. We couldn't be putting the stream on at all without him. I'd also like to thank all of our graphics contributors, EX Kirby especially, for our awesome background that we've been using for the last couple months. Mengar has been putting in a lot of work on the back end, making our tiebreak script and our new deck image tool that you guys have been seeing all of today. And of course, a special thanks to aReNGee, the founder of the website and co-organizer of these tournaments. I'd also like to thank all of the aReNGee Eternal staff, Neon, Loco Pojo, Lights Out Ace, and I all put out what I like to think are great articles. And I hope you guys will come to the website and check them out if you haven't already been doing so. But for everyone at aReNGee Eternal, it's been a great event, I think. So I'd like to pass it off to Bairdrus to tell us when he's going to be streaming next.
But
Go ahead, Truedawn.
oh, okay, I guess I'll go. So my name is Frank Moon. You know me here as Truedawn. I stream every weekday, 8 a.m. Eastern time until around 2 o'clock. Although I'm going to be expanding that schedule till 4 in the afternoon because I'm going to start streaming Gwent as well on a regular basis. We'll still be playing Eternal for the majority of my streams, but I want to play the back end 2 hours as Gwent because I've been like having a bunch of fun with that game, and also it's just super unique and cool. But we'll still be doing a lot of Eternal stuff if you want to see that. Want to see Gwent, want to see just any card games, really. We'll be playing a lot of them. Come hang out the stream at Truedawn FM/Twitch. So I'd love to see you guys there. And it was awesome casting for you. I hope you had a good time. And I'll start over to Bairdrus.
Thank you very much, Truedawn. And it was wonderful casting with you. For everybody who doesn't know, obviously I'm Bairdrus. I'm also, my real name is Matthew Terrell. I mean, you can find it online. But yeah, I go by Bairdrus. I will be streaming Thursdays on the aReNGee Eternal Twitch, which you are watching currently. So if you enjoyed hearing me and want to come check out me scrubbing it out on the ladder, you can check me out on Thursdays. You can also check out the streaming network where Lights Out Ace plays Sundays and Wednesdays, as well as Miller plays on Mondays. That's our little network. You can find me on Twitter at Bairdrus. You can find me on Discord as aReNGee Bairdrus. You can find me on Twitch as the Bairdrus, and I do intend to start streaming eventually, though I am only streaming through aReNGee Eternal currently. And that's about it for me. Oh, one other thing. Neon, one of our really good buddies, who also obviously works for aReNGee and writes articles for us. He has been doing a podcast for a long time, as some of you know, about Eternal, called Neon's Eternal Cast. I will be a co-host on it. We're going to go ahead and record an episode sometime in the next week and post that up. So if you want to hear more from me and more from Neon talking about the ETS, the meta, the roundup of the tournament, things like that, we're going to do patch changes, I believe, this week as well. You can catch us on there. So be sure to check out the website and look for that in your RSS feed. But I think that's got it for us. That's going to do it for us, folks. So thank you all very much for tuning in today. We want to, of course, thank all the players for showing up and playing, making the tournament happen. We also want to thank our production staff, Miller and Rekenner, for making this tournament function and making the stream viewable. And of course, thank you, all the viewers, for being here and doing what you do. We really appreciate the support. So thank you all so much. And we will catch you next weekend.